Deep in the southern region of Nepal, nestled within the Bagmati province, a serene and diminutive village received an unexpected visitor emerging from the untamed wilderness, captivating the attention of the online community. Nepal is known for the reigning king of the mountain ranges, Mount Everest, and also for being the home of the Dalai Lama, a peaceful place where one can connect with nature. However, as the visitor from the surrounding natural environment stepped into the village street, it caught the attention of a curious onlooker. This district had a unique distinction of safeguarding the local fauna from the brink of extinction, and amidst them, one creature stood out as particularly extraordinary, an animal reminiscent of a dinosaur, seemingly roaming the contemporary world. While the association of rhinos with Africa is commonplace, it may come as a surprise to many that the Chitwan district of Nepal serves as a haven for the endangered one-horned rhinoceros. These majestic creatures are protected and nurtured by the local community. Rhinos, as a species, are known for their reclusive nature, often seeking refuge in densely covered areas and diligently avoiding any interactions with humans or other animals. Moreover, it is worth noting that rhinos can exhibit a certain level of aggression. Crossing paths with these formidable creatures can have severe consequences, potentially altering one's life in unforeseen ways. Therefore, it is no wonder that the village was utterly astounded and perplexed when a wild rhino emerged from the bush and wandered into their midst, providing an unexpected spectacle for a fortunate tourist to witness. Kurt Hogan was a tourist who was visiting the small village of Saraja in the Ratanagar municipality in the Chitwan district. An avid tourist making his way across Asia decided he should try spots in Nepal that were somewhat untouched by the outer world. Little did he know what he would experience. Staying in a little homestay, Kurt was keen to experience the village in its true essence, from the day-to-day activities of the locals to the surrounding natural phenomena. One cloudy day, Kurt went out into the village to do some sightseeing and ventured out into the surrounding mountainous area. Upon his return, he was walking back to his accommodation when he saw something he never thought he would see, especially in this part of the world, what initially looked like a giant gray blob meandering down the street. Upon closer look, Kurt realized it was none other than a one-horned rhino. Kurt knew that these giants were locals of the area, but he also knew they were shy. Thus, his surprise when he saw one walking down a well-populated street. At first, he froze, unsure of what to do. Kurt slowly looked around and took in his surroundings. To his additional surprise, he noted that no one seemed to really care too much about the animal. Even the local roaming dogs didn't even bat an eyelid. Kurt was befuddled. This was nothing like what he had expected, intrigued by the gentle giant who was comfortably meandering down the street as calm as anything. Kurt tried to move closer to the beautiful animal. With each step that Kurt took, everything inside of him screaming to run the other way. As a South African national, Kurt was well aware of the dangerous rhinos posed. This close encounter was not something he had ever experienced before. As he got closer, he could see how the curious rhino was taking in its surroundings. The locals walking down the street merely nodded with acknowledgement toward the gray giant as if he was a local himself. This truly puzzled Kurt even further. Kurt could get some pictures and even video the rhino from behind while he was sauntering down the street, but he wasted no more time. He rushed back to his accommodation and quickly inquired with the locals he was staying with about the creature he had seen on his way home. The landlord merely laughed with glee and explained about their low mysterious friend. Turns out that the one-horned rhino was a local herself, one that had grown to turn the little village into its second home. Kurt learned that the rhino goes by the name of Maya, meaning love in Nepalese. The friendly gray giant wasn't a stranger to these parts at all. In fact, it was Kurt that was the stranger, and she could sense it, astounded by the domesticated manner in which she handled herself. Kurt was struggling to understand how her familiarity came about. It was a wild, huge rhino after all, but then he learned the truth. The landlord of Kurt's accommodation invited him to have a seat while he told Kurt the story. It was one that was both captivating yet devastating. He spoke of a time a few years back when Maya had not yet graced their village with her presence. It was a time when many villagers have yet to see a rhino up close at all, thanks to their reclusive nature. So, one day when Maya came into town for the first time, naturally everyone was petrified and unsure of what to do next. The man continued in saying that the particular day had been a rainy one during their wet season. Most people had taken shelter inside their little homes to stay dry and prevent their homes from suffering damage. This explains why it took them so long to notice her. It was around midday when a local villager called out in the street. At first, people were wary of approaching him at all, assuming that he was a madman of sorts. It was only when other brave souls ventured out that they noticed what the anxious villager was talking about. Lying almost dead, still smack bang in the middle of the main road, lay a giant gray bump, breathing heavily, chest rising hard up and down. When the men got up close, they realized the mysterious gray blob was in fact a rhino. They could hardly believe their eyes at all. Cautiously, the men made their way closer to the wild beast to see what was wrong, of course. They were nervous, unsure of what to expect. However, when they circled around the rhino's immense body, it was then that they realized how hurt she was, calling the local doctor to assist them. The men searched for the cause of her severe discomfort. It was then they found a bullet wound on the lower part of one leg. This was it. The reason she had collapsed in a populated area. The reason she had yet to move at all whilst the men ran around her. They speculated that it might have been a poacher out in the wilderness. Without a second thought, the men knew they needed to help her, and that's exactly what they did. With the combined effort of numerous individuals, they managed to slide a tarpaulin beneath Maya's hefty frame and pull her to safety from the pouring rain. The doctor attended to her wounds, providing the desperate care she required. The villagers were captivated by their new guest and took turns nurturing the magnificent creature, receiving nothing but love in return. As Maya regained her health and vitality, her fondness for her human caretakers grew stronger. She developed an affection for the people who devoted themselves to her daily, a connection that surpassed understanding. When she regained her full strength, the villagers encouraged Maya to rise once again and resume her journeys, and she did just that. Initially, her steps were tentative, but soon she was confidently striding down the main street, forging friendships with cautious dogs and playful children who wandered about. Heartbroken, the villagers realized their beloved Maya had left her shelter and ventured back to her natural habitat in the surrounding bush. It was a bittersweet realization, considering the strong bond they had formed. However, just 3 days later, Maya surprised them with impromptu visits. Sauntering down the main street, she brought immense joy to the people who had missed her dearly. It turned out that Maya loved them in return and cherished her visits to her old friend. Witnessing her daily excursions became a norm, with everyone, including the dogs, warmly welcoming her. Kurt was bewildered, as he had never heard such a remarkable story. As he witnessed the profound bond between the colossal creature and the village community, he couldn't help but acknowledge the sheer beauty of their relationship. He felt immensely blessed to have personally encountered Maya, and this encounter restored his faith in the harmonious coexistence of humans and animals in our world. Indeed, it is an extraordinary tale that warms the heart without a doubt. If you like this video, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.